Welcome to the Ultimate Entertainment Solutions Show, presented by Ultimate Entertainment Solutions. The show where we dive deep into popular topics, equipment, and emerging technologies and trends. Hope you're ready. DJ Spin It.
Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Welcome back to the Ultimate Entertainment Solutions podcast. Today, I have not one, but two special guests today. In today's episode, we have Coley and Cerdic. I'm going to let these individuals introduce themselves, and we'll start with Coley. Go ahead, Coley. The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I'm Coley with Warm Reception Events and more. So excited to be here tonight. Thank you for the invitation, and just happy to share this platform and share some knowledge tonight.
Awesome. Thank you for being on. Cerdic, floor is yours.
How you doing, everybody? My name is Cerdic Furlow. I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina. I am the owner and operator and lead DJ of Family First Entertainment. 21 years in the game, ready to take on this podcast thing.
21 years in the game, ladies and gentlemen. Coley, how long you been doing this?
So I've got not quite 21. I've got 7 years in the game. So I'm very interested in hearing from Cerdic tonight.
Okay.
He definitely plays the path.
That number could change. I'll take that back. 21 years in the game and about 8.5 on my own.
Okay, see, we don't take backs here. So it's 21 and
yeah, like 8-9 years on my own.
Right. But listen, both of these gentlemen have a lot of knowledge, and I'm excited to talk to both of them today. This episode is going to be about basic running the business and the business side of running a company. So we're going to have a lot of good information. So I hope you guys are ready. We're just going to jump into the first topic, and I'll let whoever wants to chime in first chime in. So the biggest question I know that a lot of the DJs are going to ask is, how do you determine your pricing? And I know, it's just a wide scale of pricing from DJs. You have what some would classify as the lower bottom of the barrel scale, and as far as pricing, and then you have some of the higher price DJs. So when you guys are looking at far as pricing, setting up your prices, what goes into factoring pricing for you guys?
That all depends on what they're asking from you. Some events require lighting. Some events require photo booths, all different types. Some events require special songs that you can't find anywhere, that you have to email the person that created the song themselves, to get. And the list goes on, just that's what I take in consideration when it comes into pricing. And then the time frame and stress wise. Do I have to walk upstairs with my equipment? Those type of things,
Likewise, everything that Cerdic just said. So what I like to do is I like to use a baseline cost, because with any business, you have to know and calculate what you've put into the business. So at some point in time, you've accumulated equipment, XLR cable. Like we all know on the podcast tonight, XLR cable can cost anywhere between $25 to $30 bucks and upward to get good quality XLR cable, get good cables. So you price in, you use as a baseline price the cost of your equipment. Some of the unseen things, the cost of doing business, such as if you've got a professional email. I own a domain. If you own a website or whatever the case may be, there's those general costs that factor in. That help create your baseline costs in terms of, before I even start, this is where I got to be to get back on what I've already put into the business. And then to tag along with what Cerdic just said, then it's the cost of that individual event. So my travel costs, if I'm having to rent a trailer, if I have to provide lighting, the cost of my time. Your time is valuable as a business owner as well too. The venue itself, we get to some venues and it's very easy to get in, unload and load up. And then there's some venues that it's a little difficult. So I look at that venue and I look at the mileage to get there. For me as a DJ, the federal government is 52 cents a mile. That's the cost of a reimbursement, 52 cents a mile. So when I look at each event, I use that as kind of like a baseline. It gives me sort of like a baseline in terms of calculating my mileage. I use it, based
Absolutely.
on federal and state mileage rates. So all of those things I factor in when doing my price.
Absolutely. So I know when I buy new equipment, I price out the equipment. I usually, if I can't make my money back in 2 years on that equipment, I usually won't buy that equipment. And I just use 2 years as a baseline because typically, for me, 2 years I think is a good, timeline to make your money back on equipment, especially if it's a pretty, pricey piece of equipment, which most speakers are. If you get the, like your QSCs or, some of your name brand, top of the name brand JBLs. So I usually try to factor 2 years. That's just my threshold. If I make it back before the 2 years, then great. And that's just, you factor in each event, a percentage. So you're not necessarily giving a client 30% of your equipment on each event. You're trying to be fair to the client, and then, like you said, the mileage, how much strain it is on your body, the websites, CRM programs, if you use that, insurance, then the maintenance on your vehicles. I have a trailer, so of course I also have maintenance on the trailer. Then so you look at the running cost of your business. I recently went from an office to a home office, so now I've scaled back on that. Just with COVID, most of my clients just didn't want to meet in person or in an office setting. They were all wanting to meet at the venue, Zoom, or just phone call. So for 2 years, I had an office and wasn't utilizing it. So that money was just going down the drain. So I finally pulled the trigger and I was like, all right, this is just a waste of money. Why am I spending this? So I got rid of that. Then, of course, computers. Most of us have 3 or 4 record pools because, like you said, not all record pools are alike, and every record pool is going to have each song. So, like you said, you have some songs that are that you do have to reach out to the artist and get. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that you have to factor out. And then if you want to go into specialty effects, like the Cold Sparks, 360 booth, photo booth, then you have to look at that, and you have to look at the media for that. So how much is it going to cost you to print media for X amount of clients? And, so you have your 2x6 strips, and then you have your 4x6 strips, which one do they want? So you have to factor that in. Now, are you selling photo albums? Because if you're selling photo albums, then you have to pay taxes. Then you have to look at taxes at the end of the year. So there's a lot in the business, realm of how you're supposed to factor in what it costs to run a business. I know a lot of people look at me and like, man, you're just DJing. Like, it's not a business. Okay. Well, come to day with me and sit down and see how it is ran, because it is a business. A lot of times people like, dude, you're just a button pusher, or, you know those terms. Like, no, there's a lot more to it. Right. There's a lot more to it.
You just made me move, bro.
But you know those terms. Right.
We're event managers. Right. I mean, we're more than just DJs. We're event managers.
Right. Exactly.
I'll give you a perfect example. And you were just talking about this. I just met with a client last night. That was our first consult. They wanted to meet in person. So I factor in the fact that, I'm meeting you in person. I'm probably going to meet you again at the venue. So the time and cost outside of the event. I mean, before we even show up to the venue, we're practicing. We're putting playlists together. We're curating your event for you to make sure everything goes into your special day. So there's a lot that you see before we even get to the venue, before setup happens.
And we hadn't even talked about phone bill, internet. We hadn't even talked about any of that, because to get the record pools, you got to have internet. You got to have a phone to talk to clients. So you got those, and I have my personal phone. I have a company phone. That's just to separate. When I first got into the game, I just had one phone, and I thought, I can do this off of one phone. And I just did not like doing it off of one phone. And that was just a personal preference for me. Some it works and some, some people it works for them and some it doesn't. Just for me, it did not work because what I found is, again, and I hate to keep referencing this just because of legality purposes, but, doing what I do for my main job is, I'd get phone calls from my main job and I didn't know if it was a DJ job or if it was my main job. So the way I answered, it was, I just hated not knowing how to answer that. So now that I have the separation of two, there's no question of how I need to answer it. It's either I need to answer for my main job, which is a certain way, or it's, thank you for calling Ultimate Entertainment Solution, Chris speaking, so, for me, that separation of the phones was a necessity for me. So again, it all goes into what you actually need for your company. What else? I have an LLC. Not everybody else have an LLC. Some are just doing business as. So for me, LLC, I have to pay every year to register that LLC. And it was just something that I wanted to do, as an LLC, is just because I'm in the wedding scene and it takes a little bit of the liability off from me because I heard about the bridezillas and everything. And then of course, going into some of the special effects that I do, how you can ruin the wedding day. So, I wanted to separate my personal money and company money so they couldn't come out the personal assets or anything, just in case I did run into that bridezilla, which, I try to set my company up and run everything, morally, so I don't have an issue, but you're going to always find somebody you just can't please no matter what you do. Luckily, knock on wood, I have not run into that yet. I do everything to try to please my clients. I know I see a lot of these groups where clients are just not happy no matter what you do. Me, I'm that person that I'll bite the bullet. Even if I did everything right and they're like, I want a refund, I'll just bite the bullet and get a refund, because that $200, whatever the refund is for that service, I probably won't do a full refund. I do, if there was a service, let's say, they wanted cold sparks and I set it off 2 seconds early and they were upset. Well, whatever I charge for cold sparks, to me, it's not worth the headache of a future client or future problems. Take your money and go. Unless it's just they're being morally crazy to me, then now we got a problem. Now I might fight it. Battle accepted. But typically, like I said, I haven't met that yet. And, I will say I did have a equipment, mishap, malfunction this past wedding that I had. And I don't know what happened. So it's actually getting fixed. And, before the client even asked for a refund, the refund was already in their account. They didn't even know. I sent up the follow email and I was like, I'm so sorry that this happened. I tested it the day before. I tested it before the wedding and I went to do it as the wedding was going on. It just didn't work. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? It worked the day before the wedding and now it's just not working. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, where's Ashton Kutcher? This has to be a prank. Like you this can't be right. And it just didn't work. So, like I said, I couldn't sleep that night because again, I knew that this is something they wanted. So I went ahead and sent the refund before they even asked for it. And before I even sent the thank you letter, it was probably like 12 o'clock in the night and I sent the refund. And then the next day I sent the thank you letter and let them know, hey, the refund's already been processed. So you don't even have to worry about it. You don't even have to ask for it. It's already been processed. So, but yeah, there's a lot that goes into running a business or in this business that a lot of people just don't realize. I know we talked about marketing, with Mario on the last, podcast, and some choose to go with the free route with Google, which we kind of went over. And then some, I have, brochures that I pass out to clients and stuff. So, it's just something that they can take with them that they have that they can recall. So business cards. So all of that, it costs money if you choose that route. Now, again, you don't have to choose that route, but it just depends on where you go. So,
Chris, I wanted to say while we are talking about money, just kind of some common practices that I use because I was listening to you as you were talking about events and and having to issue back a refund. Any of my prepaid events, I have an escrow account. Money goes into an escrow account.
Right.
I don't even that way. I ensure that I at least got that coverage in terms of if anything happen. And I do keep enough business cash on hand. Again, separating that personal from that business account, keeping enough cash on hand that if something does happen, you can always ensure that client is always taken care of too as well too. So I wanted to make that point, and also with DJs in terms of, I know we were talking money, even accounting. How do you when it comes down to each event that we do? What's the cost of that event, and then what's your general cost? Just the cost of doing business, but just having good accounting practices. Because it's a business. We run a business, and like any business, if you were selling a product, there's a cost of doing business, and then there's a cost that you put in each individual product that you sell. So knowing how to account and distinguish the difference as well makes a difference. When I buy a pack of batteries, do I cost that pack of batteries to that particular event? Oh, absolutely, I do.
Absolutely.
So I figure that cost as I'm building my price as well too. Maybe my internet expense is a general cost that I just cost to that I price out, in terms of the cost of doing business. But for anyone listening, definitely spend time. And if you have not purchased it, get you some good accounting software. Spend time, keeping your accounting books clean and set up different accounts for different things. What's my travel account? What's my equipment account? What's my whatever, however you break down your individual accounts, but be able to have good accounting practices. So it just makes things flow better, and you can keep track of your expenses a lot better.
Absolutely. It's like you said, even at that, have your maintenance, because tires, oil change. Like I just, so I have a wedding tomorrow. Just have my tires rotated, oil change, air filter, all that good stuff. Like, all that costs money. I think it was $160, or $170 or something like that, to have all that done. But at the end of the year, that I have to show that for maintenance of the vehicle, so, but that goes toward maintenance of the vehicle. That's not, like you said, office supplies. That's not equipment, but that's maintenance of a vehicle. So you do have to when you do your taxes, you kind of have to itemize and show what that is for tax purposes. So you're absolutely right. Then your vehicle registration and everything, and your mileage. Another thing is keep your mileage, like you said, log your mileage, because you do get accredited money for your mileage. I have a mileage book in my truck, and every time I crank it up for business, it's in there. Like I start with the date, how many miles I started with, how many miles I end with, total mileage that I end with. So at the end point, not when I get to the venue, it's nope. When I get back to my end point, that's what the mileage that I log. Well, I know for me, with my pricing, I have packages, and I have different packages for different types of events. And when I say that, like weddings, corporate parties, and then just like my standard parties, do you guys do anything like that, or do you just kind of have like this is my price, my base price of what I start out with?
I go base, and then it's hourly, depending on how late it gets. That's technically pretty much how I do it.
Right.
I did the package thing, which I should get back into it, but I'm still trying to build up my equipment and some better things for them before I can go back to packages. Because technically, I can't really offer nothing if I don't have what they're asking for or what I could throw up there to upsell. So that's why I'm just sticking to base right now till I get enough that I can start upselling like I used to.
Right. Gotcha.
After COVID, a couple of pieces had to go just to get by.
Right. So, right. Yeah.
But we're headed back in the right direction.
Absolutely.
So I sell in packages. And typically when I consult with a client, we go over setup, because I've got a variety of different setups. We can do it for weddings, most certainly. And I always ask the question in terms of if we're doing a ceremony and reception together. If we're doing multiple locations, or we're going to be on the same site, but maybe multiple spots on the same site. Absolutely. So in that way, I know in terms of package, I need to sell 2 setups. And then we also look at my different setups. I have a setup that's got the scrims and the skirting for the stands and light up and nicer facades. And I always, sit and I work with the client and say, here are the pieces that, we can go with. If we want to do GoPro projection, if we want the TV screens looping the photos in the background, here's some of the pieces, here's some of the things that go into your event. And I let them know there's a cost for it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Please.
Load that stuff in and out, and then, even having the second hand, there's a cost.
Exactly.
So I'm about like Cedric. I always start with a baseline. Here's your baseline, and here's where we can work up, because it's harder to get them hooked on that full package, and then they love it. And then you try to sell them, here's the base package, and they're like, man, I really want the lights and the
lights. And exactly.
Exactly. So I always kind of start base, and I always let them know these are the things that we can add.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Same. So I give them the necessity, like, here's the things you absolutely need, right? And then I'm like, all right, so we got that out of the way. Now tell me your vision. What is it that you want? What is that you envision? Like, when you see whatever the event you have going on, what is it that you see? And once they offer that, I'm like, okay, so we can add this, and this, or we can jump to this package if it makes more sense, because a la carte is going to be more expensive unless we go to this package, because basically how I have packages is, I have my packages discounted because I rather sell the packages, try to get it enticing for packaging than a la carte, because I feel if I can get it in a package, I'll sell more than a la carte onesie twosies here's and there. So if I can sell more packaging at a discounted price, then I'll sell more than like the a la carte items here and there. So my packaging typically is cheaper if they get it in a package than if they do, all right, let's do my base price, and then we'll just add in this and that. And then, you get, a little bit more bang for your buck if you just go up to this next, package. You're only probably going to pay like another $50, but you get X, Y, and Z. You probably get a photo booth. Oh man, we did want a photo booth. See, exactly. So, you might as well just go and pay that extra $50. Yeah, you're right. Let's do it. Okay, let's do it. So, that's how I have my packages set up. Now, like I tell everybody, my packages are not made for everybody, because they're like, well, I've had a couple weddings where they're like, I want everything but ceremony audio. Well, I don't have a package that's in the next tier without ceremony audio. Well, can I substitute? And that's where I'll go in and we'll start, creating a custom package. All right. Well, I really wanted this or that. So, okay, well, we can manipulate price wise, because, all right, well, we can substitute that and then it'll come out the same price when you do the discount. So sure, instead of ceremony audio, you'll get this special effect. So I do kind of manipulate packages in that manner, and then you'll just get a custom package. It won't be my middle package or it won't be my base, but it'll be a custom package to your event. So that's the good thing about packages for me. And it doesn't take me, like, I don't have to sit there and try to crunch numbers. A lot of times I'm just, I plug and play different things, and, they already know, like, hey, this is what I'm playing. So they don't have to be like, well, how much am I going to pay? Well, it's right here. All you have to do is just swap out ceremony audio for that, and that's what you're going to pay. So that is a benefit for that I've seen. But I also have seen it in benefits with, like Cedric has says, like, there are times where you do have to kind of build it from the floor up because it's so custom and they want some craziness. And it's just like, oh man, okay. Yeah. Well, let's figure out what you want and let's try to make it happen. And you got a complete like custom package, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I wasn't looking at this price. And you're like, well, that's kind of what, packaging pricing wise that you're looking at. So, far as, just staying on pay, what do you think about just your opinion on this? How do I put this? When people say DJs, and I know Corey, we all three of us, I know I talked to you too about this a lot, about the pay scale. So, what is your opinion on that? Like, far as, do you think that there is a right, like a need for the pay scale the way it is now, or do you think every DJ should be, pretty much at a equal level? Like, hey, now we need to get rid of these, what they call as fast food pay scale DJs, and all DJs need to bring their price up.
I think it's the education behind it.
Right.
Some people feel like, I got this, I got a controller, I got some speakers, I got a microphone,
Right.
I went and got a shirt with my name on it. I'm ready to do this, and then they jump out there and they walk into a 4-digit situation and only charge barely 3,
right.
The education behind it, because once a person find out you're doing this low number for so long, that everybody else expect this guy and that guy and that guy to do exactly what they're doing, but they don't understand the education behind it,
Right.
But they call us just DJs. No, those are just DJs.
Right.
But honestly, with all due respect, it's just the education behind it, because it could be a full-time thing. You can go head on with it full-time every day on the computer, responding, consultations, but they don't think about it like that. Somebody Facebook them, how much you charge? $350. See you on the 25th. And that's it. That's it. No more questions after that, So
right.
With that said, it's kind of hard for us to go through everything we go through legally and physically and mentally to make this day perfect for you.
Correct. Correct.
I mean, it's a lot on our end too, but when you got guys that just show up and press that button, I'm sorry, like the guy that that's not too far from me, the guy that show up and load up Windows Media Player,
right,
and then his phone plugged up, and then you start hearing those text messages going in throughout the ceremony.
Right.
That's, I'm gonna stop because it's my
Windows Media Player. Did you?
Windows Media Player. I mean the whole thing. The whole thing.
Brother, you can get a free trial version of Virtual DJ.
But they don't want to do that. It's them seeing that on the screen and then they feel confused. Yeah. It's not much different from that screen than it is on your controller. That controller is for what's on the screen. They complement each other. You just have to do the work and do it. But the only thing you saw was I just made $300 to come here and play music for them.
Right. I do know some DJs that don't necessarily use a controller, but they're good at their craft and the software that they use, and they can entertain a crowd, so I guess cause I use a controller and it's back here. Everything I do is on controller. So I guess, I guess the ones who don't use controllers, you feel that is a right price for them then? Is that $350 or whatever, is in line with what they should be charging then?
No. I don't think it's that. I just think the education behind it as towards getting that insurance to cover you, making sure you got a system that's gonna be able to make the people downstairs have a good time, and then the people that's in the balcony area
gonna have a good time.
A venue,
Gotcha.
Make sure they can hear the music. Make sure your microphone is, I don't have the greatest microphones, but I do know once I get it to a certain point that it might start echoing. So I got to, hey, stand over here a little bit,
Right.
To not go through those things and look as professional as the guys on TV look. Because that's what they're going to compare us to anyway,
Correct.
So
correct.
It's just all those small things that can become major factors in the difference between the ones like us who take it to heart and then the ones who do it on the weekend when they got the day off,
Gotcha.
It just, to me, it just makes sense to put that education behind them. You know, I would love to use vinyl. People
Right.
think because I have a controller, oh, he ain't no real DJ. He's just pushing buttons.
Right.
I would love to invite you to come back here and push these buttons and try to make something happen.
Exactly.
That's just me.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Cedric. Back in the day, if they had controller, they would have used it back in the day as well.
Oh yeah. I mean,
they would use it back in the day. It's convenient. I mean, it's sort of like I get the old school DJs that come to me and they're like, "Oh, back in my day, you know, we used to have the big cabinet speakers and we had to have amps and everything separate. And that's what we used when we were DJing. And that's great, but I'm just not trying to break my back."
Exactly.
It's easier setup for me to bring in a preamp speaker. And I'm up and at it, and I'm ready. It doesn't take away my skills. Just I'm using new age technology to work smarter and not harder. It doesn't take away the fact that you're still a great DJ. And then going back to what you were saying about the 350 DJs, listen, brothers, if you charge a price and you make a profit and you provide your client with the very, 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 very best service, you have nothing to apologize for when it comes to your price. Now, if you want to be the guy that has no microphone presence, you barely have a tablecloth when you come in, you don't even, cover your table, your, XLR cable, everything. If you want to be that guy to 250, and I'm be honest with you, clients are scared of those 300 and those 350 DJs. They're scared of them. I had a client the other day call me and I gave her a price and she told me that there were a couple others that she called and they told her 300. And I said, that's the way you want to go and it fits your budget. Congratulations on your big day. That's all I can tell you. But she was scared to death. And she was like, when I planted that seed of doubt that, someone is going to be with you, think about this, for 7 hours or 6 hours, however long you're together with a wedding. You're entrusting, this is a big day. This is at 20 years from now. You're looking at videos of this event. This is a memorable time. So do you want to entrust that, to someone who may not get it right?
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't think about it like that. See, my area, when it comes to packages, we don't even get that far. They have brought the respect level down to the point where you get a message on Facebook, how much you charge. Yeah. And then I say, hey, how you doing? My name is Cerdic. I'm the owner operator of Family First Entertainment. I understand you have a big day coming up. Give me a call or message me and we can connect through email. We don't even get that far. It's just how much you charge.
Right. Straight off the bat. Yeah.
I mean, I could help you out a lot if you tell me what you need, let's get there. Let's build that relationship because what you're getting ready to ask me to do is big.
Right.
Because I think it's big and I want you to feel like it's big. But if you just want me to come do it for nothing, what's the point? I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. I want to make your day just as special.
Exactly.
That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm a button pusher.
All right. See, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say every event that we do, regardless of how big or how small, we're advertising. Every single event that you do. And when it comes to my clients, I take every event serious. I charge a price that I'm comfortable with. I mean, of course, inflation is real. Things have gone up and I mean, it's a real situation, and I had real conversations on how I want to handle that in terms of with my clients and moving forward as well. But I look at every event that I'm a part of is a chance to advertise because someone's out there. They're going to be looking for a DJ or a referral, and again, I'm about like Cedric. I'm careful what my name's attached to.
Exactly. See, I agree with both of y'all. I think there is a spot for them. And we all started out at that low budget and of course we've all kind of progressed past it. And, I caution, others, if you're comfortable there. But I just, like you said, is, take it serious. I know not every DJ wants to be a millionaire. Not every DJ wants to have a multi-ops company. So we all have our own goals and aspirations as a company. So I'm not saying go out there and try to charge $1 million, or, you know, you don't have to charge $2,000 event. But, I still encourage DJs to charge a fair share. And when I say that is, again, it's kind of what we talked about, is don't shortchange yourself as equipment. If you're buying low budget equipment trying to do this, then you're making the rest of the industry look bad, because if something happens, then we all look bad. Again, we can't 100% stop equipment malfunction. I don't care the type of equipment you get. You can get the top of the line equipment. It still at some point might malfunction. And I put that in my contracts. I do everything that I can to keep equipment from malfunctioning, but there is a chance that it's going to malfunction. And if it does, I apologize in advance, and I do everything to make it right. Now, if it's a speaker, I have extra speakers on hand, right? So now you look at these DJs that charge $300. Do they have extra speakers on the spot or on the site, or do they just have that one? Same thing with microphones, like you said. We've all had the ones that are not just the best microphones. And, with this chip shortage, everybody's scrambling for microphones. So, there's a shortage of microphones right now. I actually just bought my receivers this week, and they came in for my Shure. I bought the transmitter, excuse me. I bought the receiver, 6 months ago, and I've been waiting on the transmitters to come in, or the transmitters. So two of them just came in stock in American Music Supply, and I grabbed them up as soon as I got the notification, and they've been out of stock ever since I grabbed those two up. So, I mean, it's hard out here right now for microphones. So, you just got to have the proper equipment and stuff. So if you don't have backups to backups, computers. So if you only got that one computer and that goes down, what you going to DJ off of? I always take a backup computer with me with music. If you have one controller, there are things that I take with me that if it goes down, I can continue to rock the party. Now, again, special effects stuff like cold sparks and that whatnot, if it malfunctions, it's just a one-time, one-off. That moment's gone, unfortunately, and I can't get that moment back. So if I can fix it and we can do another moment later on, I will. But if not, then that moment's gone, unfortunately, and that's a risk that they take when they get special effects. Like I said, we can do everything to prep and make sure that they work. If they don't work before the event, then I would do everything to get it to work before the event. But that's just a small difference between some of the lower end DJs that charge lower and higher end DJs, and of course, so we'll go ahead and move to. I'm sorry.
I want to make a real quick point before you leave there.
Yeah.
This may help too as well too. $250 DJ. If something happens and I can't DJ that event, but Cedric's within my network, Cedric's not going to come and do that event for $250.
Absolutely.
And if I don't at least get to a minimum, like going back to what you were saying before, I mean, there should be some kind of baseline among DJs. Something can happen to any one of us, but Cedric's not going to DJ that event for $250.
Absolutely.
So I need to. Again, that's another thing that those $250 and those $300 DJs don't have. You don't have a network of folks that, something happens and they can't do it or they can't show up. I mean, look at what happened with COVID,
Absolutely.
Just positive for COVID. You can't make it to the event. Who's going to pick up that event? If you didn't even get, a minimum market price. So just kind of my take on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right.
And they're shopping around already. Now, if you came to me through recommendation, then you've already heard about the experience that it is with Family First Entertainment. But if you're just wanting to see if you can get me for 7 hours for $300, then young fella, you've been taken advantage of, because they already know what a DJ costs. They just want to see if they can get you for $300, because they didn't call Chris. They didn't call Corey. You see what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So yeah,
right.
it's the education behind it, you know.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of bad things. You know, people get suckered in, and things change, and they don't have contracts and this and that, and now all of a sudden you're stuck. You know what I'm saying, for all this time, and you made very little money, and that money is gone within a week. You can't invest it. You can't put it in savings. It's going straight to a bill. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You can't even pay yourself out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, brings us to our next topic, which I know in certain instances, I kind of already know the answer to this, but do you ever discount your services for clients?
I'm gonna let Corey start with that one.
So say you did have a good leeway because you know you have a variety of ways that clients can come in. You have your repeat and referral clients, and the one thing that you got to think of, you already come highly recommended to these folks. So somewhere they've seen your work, somebody's seen your work, and you come highly recommended. So there's not much work you have to do in terms of building rapport because the rapport is already established. And then you have your folks that just kind of come straight off the street and that are inquiries. So I'm going to answer that question vaguely, but I'm going to give an explanation. I discount all my prices, but let me explain that. When I send an invoice out, regardless of where I start in terms of price point, I always show a special discount on that invoice. Now, that just builds value in the price that I provided. So let's just say if I'm doing a wedding and that wedding's a $1,300 wedding, somewhere on that invoice, it's going to say you just had a savings of $400. I'm always going to do something to build value in that price. So on that invoice, it's always going to reflect some type of discounted price. And again, there's no different than what happens when you use your MVP card when you go to Food Line. Or when you go to Walmart, whatever the case may be, and you get that receipt that says, hey, today you saved $100. And I do that, again, to build value into my price as well. So on my invoice, it always reflects that you've got some type of special pricing, especially if it's a repeat customer. And it's not to fluff anyone, but but again, it's just to, again, build value in that price that that I provided for you. But in terms of just general, you have to gauge it according to where you feel comfortable. I mean, if you, I look at an event and I've had folks call me and, hey, I'm throwing XYZ shindig and here's what I got. I need someone for a couple hours or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying that I provide them a discounted price, but I provide you the best value price, a price that I feel comfortable with and a price that I feel is reasonable. That's what I provide. So maybe it's not a discounted price, but it's a reasonable price that I provide you. If the event is local, I probably have a little bit more flexibility on some of my local events.
Absolutely.
I look at the cost of the event.
Absolutely.
If it's just something, I'll give you an example. A lot of these school systems, I get a lot of elementary schools that want to do a dance or whatever the case may be. PTA doesn't have a $1,000 budget to work with, but we come up with something, and then I always look in terms of, will I get other events out of this event? Because remember, we're always advertising.
Correct.
And that has happened. I've done some PTA events and taking a price that's a little less than what I typically take, but somewhere in the crowd, somebody is having a wedding. And they come up to me and they say, hey, we'd like to get a quote on what it would cost to do my wedding. So I always look at it like that. That may be a business opportunity as well, too.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
My area, for some odd reason, even though Family First Entertainment can be looked up and found anywhere on any internet website, you business cards, T-shirts, flyers, you name it, it's out there. Everybody wants a discount, but they don't want just any discount. They want a discount. So we get into what it's going to cost to make this event happen. Man, I thought I was your friend. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
And then it's more of, okay, so on the website, if you go here and you see the event list and pricing, That's my baseline stuff. And then we don't get into what I can bring to it. They're like, well, can you not charge me for this? And you do everything you can not to, be smart with them. But I mean,
yeah, I cannot charge you. I just can't bring it.
Exactly. I can't just not charge you, because if I don't charge you and I bring it and something happened, then what?
Exactly. Then what? Exactly.
So, I mean, it's things like that. Everybody loves a discount. I used to do exactly what you used to do, Corey. I had the COVID discount. Depending on the situation, it was $150 to $250 off, because I know the event. I mean, I didn't want to see myself taking advantage of people, but I know whatever the event was, it wasn't too costly, but it was important. So me taking some money off of you in a time where everybody's afraid to come out their homes, I'll do it for you. I'll do it. But when it's a birthday party for a 15-year-old for 3 hours by the pool and all this stuff, and he's got, and I'll tell you about, she's got a $400 cake, and she's got on a $500 dress, and they bought her a $39,000 vehicle. I can't walk in that situation, on discount, or $300, So
yeah,
I mean, I don't mind doing discounts. I got so much love for so many people. I just want to make your event the best it is, but I got to get you to respect the fact that I'm coming here during this time, where we're masked up, where we're rubbing down, and all that stuff. I can do the discount thing. It's just a matter of how you propose it. How are you asking?
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't just be like, hey man, no, I don't want to pay you that much. All right, I'm going back in the house.
Right.
But still, it's a way of doing it. I don't mind. I have no problem with it. It's just, I don't need that to be the first thing. But y'all may not see it like that, but my area, for some odd reason, feels like that's the first thing they want to ask. And that's bad. So that's why I tend to deal with certain clients.
Right.
That's why I tend to deal with certain clients, because I know I don't even expect that question. I know I can go into my professional, the professional Cerdic, because I can start naming this, and we can talk about that and what will enhance it to make it, be like this. That way your event is perfect for you.
Exactly. Exactly.
So many people don't even know what a cold spark is.
Right.
Exactly. They just want music.
Yeah.
They never even heard of a 360 booth.
Exactly.
They don't know what that is,
Exactly.
So, I mean, me trying to explain it to them, they're like, oh, okay. Well, we just want you to bring that one speaker and a sub, and we just want to get the party started. Okay.
It never stops there. That's where they want you to, it's always funny, because I always get and I price this event out accordingly. I always get we're just doing a little something from 6 to 8.
Just a little something.
Yeah. Never been at a party that stopped at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Exactly. Exactly.
It's gonna be 10 or 11.
They come up to you. Hey, you mind staying a little bit extra?
Half 6 to 9.
Half the people that's coming ain't even put their clothes on yet.
No.
Exactly. I tell you, for me. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, they only show up to 8. And I'm going to tell you the ones that you got to be very, very careful with. Where I get the discount is not necessarily the clients. I get it from the planners. I get it from the venues. And the reason why I say be careful was because oftentimes they want to get you to do an event at the very, very lowest price point. Get you at a baseline price point so they can upsell.
Yeah.
And that's the ones that I get that hit me the worst. The ones that come to me and say, hey, I want to do a package deal with you. What's the very, very lowest that you can get me? Or a venue that says, for all my clients, A to Z, what's the baseline price that I can provide them? Like,
and you know what? I send them out that same email I send my clients. Hey, here's my packages and prices. There you go.
Yeah.
They ought to be ashamed trying to do somebody like that.
Yeah.
They ought to be ashamed.
Yeah. I tell you, for me, like, so I discount, but I don't discount everybody. And I say I discount because I do discount some clients. Now, if you're a repeat client, and I mean, you sending me business after business and other clients, and they're like, hey, so-and-so. And I mean, all right. Yeah. So your network, I'm going to discount your network because I mean, you're like, now when I say discount, I'm not saying I'm doing like $500 off of your, your event, but you might get an extra $100 off your event or something manageable, right? Because I appreciate like your network, your network is bringing me more money, right? So, I mean, at least I can do is give you a little extra off than just the average Joe.
Yeah.
So, but typically just average, inquiry. I don't discount, and I know I get a lot of frowns too from a lot of military. Is like, they like we're military, yada yada, and I'm like, hey, thanks for your service, me too. And they're like, do you discount? No. And my reasoning behind that is because, like I tell them, I said, go price my packages to the next DJ with everything that I'm offering, and it's already discounted. So that's why I don't discount typically off just an average inquiry, because I'm already discounted if you go look at it. So, if you go up into the Raleigh area, you go up into Greenville area, you go, in Wilmington area, anywhere, you look at my middle package, I'm probably $800, $800 to $700 already discounted. Mm-hmm. And, and I'm providing you with the photo booth, ceremony audio and all this. And I'm like, well, no. And I have an assistant and I got an attendant that runs my photo booth and the assistant that comes with me. So I still got to pay 2 more people on top of, trying to run it. So I'm like, no, I was like, right now my packages are priced right where they need to be to where they get paid. And I still bring in money for the company, so no, there's no more discount to be given on that. So like I said, now if big into that network, I might throw another $100 off, and then the company can eat that $100 because that $100 has in turn probably turned into like, another $1,000 from all the referrals and everybody that you're pulling. I mean, you sent me 30 clients, so whatever. That $100, I eat that all day long, for 30 clients. But that's my take on it. And, so do you ever turn down events?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
About 2 hours ago, I did.
Right on time. Right. So I know.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I know when I first came into the game, I was always scared to turn down events. And I know a lot of new DJs are going to be scared to turn down events. So, give us, I know we'll get to you, Corey, because I know you said you just did one today, but we'll let Cerdic go ahead.
If it's too far out of what I'm good at, then I know I may not be the DJ for you.
Okay.
Over here, just my area in general, they tend to want to, please grandma and grandpa.
Okay.
And then, mom and dad, and then they want to, go somewhere completely different. You know what I'm saying? Off of what we discussed and what we was going to do.
Right.
So, I mean, I can do that. There's ample amounts of music out there that I can get to make, to please grandma and grandpa. Grandma and grandpa want to shag.
Exactly.
They want to hear very little disco, just those happy songs. Exactly. All right, cool. We can do that. Mom and pops, they want a disco. They want to 80s it out.
Yep.
I mean, we can do that too. And that's right down my level.
Exactly.
And the bride and groom want to hip hop it, but they want that deep thug.
Exactly.
They want that real stuff.
Right.
But when it comes to me just playing country all night, those type of situations, I'm not going to be able to rock your party like, another DJ who's more familiar with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, cause it ain't a race factor or anything. It's just, I'm not into country.
Right.
And for me to attempt to do it, I'm going to bum it. I would prefer passing that on to another DJ. You know what I'm saying? With great recommendation behind it. But it's just those type of things I try to stay away from.
Gotcha. Yeah. Makes sense.
Cedric makes all good points. So for
Yeah.
me, it's location. I got a pretty distance that I'm comfortable with driving, and everything else is put with a question mark. Now, if it's an organization, you know, I deal with an organization each year, well, 2 organizations, and I know that with those organizations, they're going to book me. I know it's Atlanta, Philadelphia, Virginia Beach. I travel with those organizations. I'm cool. We've got history. But in terms of driving distance, I have to look at driving distance and say, okay, what's my cutoff? And then I have to evaluate everything outside of that. I would say 3-hour driving range. I have to evaluate anything outside of that. Repertoire is the same. So same with Cedric. If I'm not familiar with that genre or the particular genres that you want, I mean, if you want folk music all night, I don't have bluegrass folk music. So I'm probably not going to be able to accommodate and give you the very, very best that I need to give you for your event. So it's best for me to pass this event up. I look at the personality of the event as well too. There's some events that I'm comfortable with, and my motto is, you know, I've got to be. It's got to mesh with who I am and what I'm comfortable with playing as well too. So this may go against what other DJs do, but I don't have any music with that's explicit because the nature of the parties that I do. A lot of the parties that I'm doing weddings. I'm connected to corporate events. Right. So I don't have an explicit focus.
Yes.
I don't.
Right.
And I'll tell my clients up front, and I've had to refuse this event. And I refused it because she said, well, I don't know if having non-explicit music is going to go well with the crowd. I said, well, you know, best wishes. I got some referrals of some folks that you can talk to. You're probably going to want somebody that's a little bit more club DJ.
Exactly.
And that's not who I am. I mean, I can mix and blend. I can get down with the best of them.
Right.
But I'm just probably not going to be the right person for that event. So let me just refer you all. And to be honest with you, most DJs for referrals, I mean, I've got a network of folks. I mean, from yourself, Chris, and other DJs that we work with that you know, hey, I can pass along some information, and this person may, you know, be the person you're looking for this event.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
All money is not good money. It's not going to be good money. And I've taken events and I've taken weddings. I took one about a couple of weeks ago, and it was the roughest wedding that I've done. I didn't do any history. I didn't do any research on the venue. I mean, the people that own the venue were very, very rude. I mean, I couldn't connect with the crowd.
Right.
The placement of where they put me. I mean, they put me in a loft versus floor level, and it was just. I probably would not have taken that event if I just done a little bit.
They
more
don't
research.
understand sound, do they?
Say it again.
They don't understand sound, do they?
No, they put me in a loft. Not only did they put me in the loft, but there was no elevator to get you upstairs.
Oh, Lord.
So imagine having to carry your subs, your lights, and having to going out after I done the event. I didn't ask enough qualifying questions because I didn't know that I needed 3 setups. I did not know that the cocktail hour was switched, and the cocktail hour was on a patio away from the reception area. So at that point, it was like, I can't provide you with what you need for cocktail hour because it's not in my contract, and no one provided me with those details. You switch. And so if I would have known a lot of these things that were connected to that event, I probably would not have done it.
Right.
But the bride and groom gave me a glowing recommendation.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Rick. That's good. That's great that they did that. That's great that they did that. That's great that you went out there and you accomplished your goal, and you did what you did, and you represented your company well. You know, that's great that you did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know exactly what you're talking about when it comes to that.
Right. There definitely are some red flags that you got to look at. And, I mean, I'm starting to see more and more, especially as we move out of this. You know, we've been said that we're out of the pandemic phase, and I'm starting to see more and more red flags with brides and grooms and weddings and just events in general, because people just, I guess they forgot what it takes to do events, and I'm starting to see these red flags, and so it's, you know, it's interesting, you know. And it kind of, what you said leads us to our next topic, and we'll kind of go over that kind of quickly. I don't want to run too far over this hour. So just walk us real quick through, your booking process.
Most people that I book with, that try to book with me, they like to go through Facebook for everything. It's so hard to try to get them to get on my website, or let's connect through DJ Event Planner, or even through email. They just want to deal with Facebook. I mean, not even just a video chat. They want to just send messages. I can't service you through messages because I don't know. That's not telling me anything. We need to actually talk. But yeah, I get the message. I send my response. I send you my website. And funny thing is, I have been asked to play folk music. And that's how I know nobody's looked at my website, because they have no idea what I look like.
Right.
So just throwing that out there.
Right.
So, I get them talking, you know what I'm saying? They tell me what they need. I tell them what I can offer. You know what I'm saying? If it's, if I can accommodate it, we get a price. We start doing the contract situation, and then we go into, the planning.
Right.
I mean, just, the simple step.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just go into the steps, the simple steps, and leave it like that. And I try to make sure I get contact information for a bride and groom, or somebody that can reach out to you if I can't get in contact with you, just to keep that contact. Because things change, you know what I'm saying, the week of, 2 weeks before, 3 months down the road, things can change, so that's typically how I do it. I'm using more email now than I've ever had in my life. Because most of the time it used to be Zoom, and now it's like everybody's so busy. So my email, and I just wait and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Corey?
Same on my end. So my personal Facebook page, I got a business Facebook page. So if they message that business page, that chat feature is going to automatically give them a questionnaire. So if they, and it'll basically, hey, tell me how many hours you're looking for, what type of event is it. It's a few general questions depending on what they're looking for, and that helps me, because Cedric, I know the feeling. I mean, you'll get a message, how much did you charge to DJ a wedding? And I'm like, okay, hello, my name is Corey. let's start from the beginning. Where are you located? Where am I going? How many hours? How many people? Where's your venue? So, I try to intake as much of that information as possible before providing a price. There are some that are I just want you to kind of price and go, but there are those that I can get on the phone that I can actually say, hey, listen, is there a time that we can talk or speak by phone or video chat or whatever the case may be? Because I want to make sure I covered all bases before I provide them a price. So let's say, okay, I provided them a price, they're good with the price, and they're ready to move forward. Our next step is contract. So they're going to get a link to the contract, which I've created, and they're also going to get a link to submit their deposit as well, too. So I do have minimum deposits, and within the contract, I kind of outline their payment plan options. So if you're not paying in full, if you're just paying the deposit, here are your due dates for your next payments. Here's the last due date for all payments for your event to be paid in full. So they're provided with that link in order to do that. And if they need any other type of payment options, I really try to shy away from the cash apps. I really try to stay more with the PayPal at a minimum. They've got a credit card link that they can use, and I can actually take ACH bank payment, or I can take a credit card payment. I mean, I can send you that link. Most use that because they can save their credit card on file. And they can just make recurring payments or whatever the case may be. So that's typically how I do. I intake them. Once I've gotten a deposit or got the payment, the contract signed, they've got a client information sheet that they're going to fill out, and we're going to start building their event. And I usually promise at least a couple of consultations, kind of sporadically through. I like to always touch bases with my bride and groom a week prior. just to say, okay, let's make sure nothing's changed, everything's still in place, final details. But that's typically how I kind of handle my bookings.
Absolutely. And so yeah, I'm about the same way. I make that first contact, or they make the first contact with myself, and we get some of the small details, and then we set up that consultation. Once we set that consultation up and we decide whether we're going to go ahead and go through with it, then that's when I set them up with the CRM. And then I don't do anything outside of my CRM. Everything is funneled through my CRM, all my messages, all of my planning forms, everything. That way I keep everything centralized and I don't have to go fishing for anything. So, I don't accept anything out of it. Even if you have a wedding planner, I don't care. All my forms must be filled out in my CRM. Like you said, I do plan out, emails. So, I reach out 180 days. And then of course, subsequent after that, I saw it 6 months, 4 months, 3 months. Then it's, 3 weeks, and then it's 2 weeks, and then it's, the week of, and then of course 2 days before. So I make sure that I reach out. That's basically my process. And then, to finalize, all of my forms are due 21 days prior to the event. If they're not given to me 21 days prior to the event, there is a rush fee that I charge the clients, to rush plan. I talked about that on a previous podcast. 14 days out, I start to actually really start, to locking things in. 7 days out, that's when everything is kind of finalized. And then I call the client, and I make final changes, start putting things in pen and ink. And then if I hadn't heard anything, I'll call them a couple of days before the wedding, and then I'll make sure nothing has changed, and we'll go through I have a full wedding day planning. I mean, it goes from ceremony all the way up into the reception, and it covers. So that's how I go through it step by step. It has, and I can show it to you, Corey. It has the ceremony. I mean, it goes in detail, step for step, and it even goes to like ceremony. And I asked them, I need another set up everything, and they either have to say yes or no. Like there's no guesswork to it. And if they don't put yes or no, like I make them answer yes or no, or NA, like it's not applicable to them. It even goes in depth to like their prelude music, like, hey, do you want me to select your prelude music for ceremony, or you want to select it? Same for cocktail music, same for reception, like all of that, like, it goes, if they have a separate ceremony for sand, or they doing tying a knot, jumping the broom, like, yeah, I mean, it goes in depth. That way, I know if there's no loose ends. So that's why I get kind of upset when it's not filled out, and I kind of get annoyed, when, I have to kind of, pry for information, because it's literally thoughtless when they go to fill it out. But timeline, it's literally drag and paste. I put every event, like wedding ceremony, reception, grand entrance, bridal party entrance, you go down on timeline. So it's literally drag and paste, and then they enter in the name or the times, and then I'll go in and I'll put in comments that I want to do. It also has the music planning form in there as well, so they can put in their must plays, do not plays, play if possible. And then they have dedications. And what I do is I go in and I make them put, hey, play this during cocktail, play this during dinner hour, play this during like the hype of the night, because what I've been getting a lot of slow songs, and they've been wanting those played during the dancing part of the night, which I would have never thought, because it brings the energy down. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's what you want. It's on my must play, so I'll play it. Hey, just keep in mind, it's going to bring the energy down. I'm like, but hey, so if people leave the dance floor, don't blame me. I'm just letting you know. So that's kind of my process, in a nutshell. We're kind of a little over the hour, so we're going to wrap it up, and I'm going to put you on the hot seat, both of you, and I'm going to ask you the question like I always do to all my guests. And again, just for the disclaimer, this is not to be disrespectful to any of the vendors or any of the clients that we've worked for or worked with, but it's just to kind of give just a short snapshot into what we go into. day to day and what we deal with. And again, why we kind of charge some of the things we charge, or maybe some of why contracts are worded the way they are, just because of what we have to deal with. But I think we opened up with, did we open up with Cedric or did we open up with you, Corey, when we started the show? I can't remember.
Maybe it was Sid. I think Sid, you had opening remarks.
Okay, so then we'll start with you, Corey. So we're going to put you on the hot seat first. So what is that one thing that just kind of sets you off that, we talked about and, you don't typically, express to the vendors or to the clients, but, we just kind of talk about closed doors.
So for my clients, most of what I deal with is going to be controlled because, we've got a contract, we've got communication, we got rapport, so they know my expectations and I know what they expect and they know what I expect. For me, it's some of the other vendors that are connected to the event. I've had directors that try to minimize you. They don't really see the importance of the DJ and they will minimize you. And it's all done in a way to maximize their value. So they want to show that, I'm this great wedding planner and, I'm going to be the person controlling all of the puppet strings of the event. And they've said and they've done things. And I'm thick skinned. I don't let it hurt my feelings. But I let them know at the end of the day that, it's better when we're working together. Teamwork make the dream work.
Absolutely.
I did a wedding this past weekend. And like always, the very first thing that I will do the day of the wedding is introduce myself to the photographer, the caterer, and the director. I introduce myself to all of the vendors. Immediately hit it off with the photographers. In fact, he had $1,000 walkie-talkie headset. He was like, "Hey, I've got this for you." Man, I've never enjoyed an event as much as I did Saturday. And it was just because the director, the photographer, we were all on the same page.
Right.
From just every second of the event, we're communicating through headsets. And there were even times that, some funny moments happen and we may crack a joke through the headset because we kind of understand it. And it just made lighter the moment. It just made the event so much more smoother. Right. But I've certainly had, if I was to encourage anyone out there, if they're listening and you're booking a wedding, just, make sure that, those personalities and that everybody's just really on the same page. When I go in as a DJ, like I said, I'm not, I always remember that my clients come first. I'm not coming in. I want to highlight my talent, but I'm not coming in to be, just overbearing or to make the event about me. But at the same time, there's some minimal things that I expect, like location and real estate in the room is important. I understand that the directors, you want to have, you want to show off your decorations and you want the place to look nice. That's what the guests pay for. But don't minimize another person to maximize your value. Let's all work together and be on one accord. It's just always nice to ask, hey, Mr. DJ, is there a particular location where you'd like to be so where we can work around that location? So I think that just works well in the end.
Absolutely. What you got for us, Cedric?
Website, but you got a live DJ. I believe representation is everything because that's going to go a long way. So while you're being live DJ, if somebody comes up and say, "Hey, do you have a card?" and they see Family First Entertainment, the 20 years and all that stuff, cell phone, email, website, all that stuff. Oh, he's not a live DJ. He's somebody. Well, I mean, you know that now, but I don't like to be called live DJ. I don't like for none of us to be called live DJ. You know what I'm saying? Don't belittle us. You got all this stuff going on, but nobody's going to have a good time with no music. We're somebody. Call us who we are. You know what I'm saying? The Dump Festival, blah blah blah, featuring Family First Entertainment. Because when you throw Family First Entertainment up there, I can guarantee I know about 54 people that's going to show up to your establishment. You see what I'm saying? But when you say live DJ, oh, they're going to be playing music. No, you're getting DJ Enough Said. You get the Family First Entertainment. You know what's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? Don't go live DJ. You know what I'm saying? DJ Ultimate ain't just no live DJ. That's DJ Ultimate.
Right.
That's Ultimate Entertainment Solutions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not getting a live DJ. You're getting Ultimate Entertainment Solutions. Let it be known. That's how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we put a lot into it just to be called live DJ. You know what I'm saying? That's like being in a relationship. Like, this is my friend, and don't even say your name. Really? Like, you ready to leave after that, right? You know, like, still, you know, I don't like the live DJ. I don't like the live DJ. I also don't like when people at the venue don't introduce themselves or give you a chance to introduce yourself to them and just kind of walk by you. We can all accommodate each other by, you know, introducing each other. Just like my man hooked him up with the earpiece. I know that was a blessing. That made everything just wonderful. You know what I'm saying? I can't help you if you don't help me. The photographers don't get in the key. We can't set you up for those key moments. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the wedding planners, after they hit the get them in there from the reception, they go. They don't say nothing else. I mean, it's tough, man. But you know, that's the big thing. I don't like live DJ. I really feel like there should be something in the world where we can get in somebody's system and mark that out and put who we are. That's it.
All I gotta say, enough said, ladies and gentlemen. You see the shirt, enough said. So, last but not least, I have one of you give the pro tip of the day. Whoever would like to give the pro tip of the day, go ahead and do it.
I'm going to give it to 21 years. I mean, it's 21 years.
Pro tip of the day. I'm 40 years old. I might not look it when some people see pictures of me and stuff, but I'm really 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? Invest in bags for everything. Speakers, invest in cases for your equipment, invest in all those things. Save your body. I promise you. Because when that back go down and you got a 9 to 5, you know what I'm saying? It's tough. They don't want to hear you hurt your back at a gig because you can't produce for them now. You know what I'm saying? Get everything bagged up, get everything cased up. If you can push it, push it. If you can carry it, carry it. But some things that you have to lift, you shouldn't have to lift on your own. And if you do, it need to be as easy as possible.
Absolutely.
You know, I say bag everything up. No matter what it is, bag everything up.
Rock and roller cart. I got invested in one. I'm about to invest in another one. I want 2 or 3 of them.
See?
Love them. Love them. Love them. So before we get out of here, I'm going to let you guys share your information again. So let everybody know where they can find you. And we're going to go and get out of here. So we'll start with you, Corey.
Absolutely. Corey Coley, again, Warm Reception Events and More. You can find us on Facebook. Also on Instagram. Instagram is WRE_events. Facebook is Warm Reception Events, and you'll see our symbol come up. Other than that, you know, we can be reached by email, and that's events@warmreceptions.net. And of course, we'd be more than happy to provide any information about what we do, or for other DJs out there, if you just want to chat it up about pro tips or just best practices, we're available to do it.
Close us out, say it.
Family First Entertainment Facebook, Family First Entertainment the website. You can reach me. All my contact information is up there. Email, phone number. I don't mind connecting with other DJs. I have a lot of free time. I actually take pictures now. I'm getting into photography. If there's somebody that actually need a hand, I don't mind coming 2-3 hours. I like to get away from the house. You know, like I could be of service. But you know, like I said, Family First Entertainment, everything. I can be reached. All my information is there. I'm ready to party if you're ready to party.
Once again, I want to thank both of you for coming on tonight. Had a ball. We'll definitely connect offline like we always do. Again, it's been a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. If you like what you saw today, once again, you see that button, subscribe, tune in for more episodes. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Ultimate Entertainment Solutions Show. If you enjoyed our show, be sure to tell a friend. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss a show. See you next time.